Obaggo recycling. Back in 1970, I'm going to tell you a little, like the journey of how I got here. So back in 1970, my dad founded the recycling center in my hometown. And so I grew up in a recycling family. I spent my weekends sorting newspapers from magazines and clear brown and green glass into different bins. And that was a lot of fun. We were really early in the recycling movement back then. And we got called tree huggers and a lot of nice derogatory terms. But after a number of years, the town took over the program, and then we just became a household that recycled, and we put things in our curbside bins. And everybody's probably familiar with what their town lets them recycle. So my dad used to do all the recycling, and he would do all the right things, and of course he would save his bags and take them back to the retail store where they told him to, and he'd bring his reusable bags so that he could minimize the bag. And but as an adult, I tried to be as good a recycler as my dad. It's just like our religion, right? But I was not as good. I just couldn't figure it out. I would get to the store and I'd see this sign and I'd go, oh my God, forgot my reusable bags. Or sometimes I'd put them in the trunk of the car, and then I'd check out. I'd be in the checkout line, and I'd remember my bags are in the back seat of the car, and I'm trapped in the line, and I can't run out and get them. So it was very frustrating for me, and it kind of troubled me. Like, how come they're doing this to me? And then I realized that other people probably have the same problem. I had a kind of a realization once when I was looking at the bags and I was looking at other things, milk jugs, and I noticed they had the same symbol on it. It had a little 2, and that 2 it had some letters next to it. And I realized that they're both the same thing. They're made out of polyethylene, high density polyethylene. So I still didn't figure out that this one I could recycle and that one I couldn't. I didn't really understand why, but I continued down that path, and I started to learn, the bags are bad because of their shape. So this thin, flimsy material, it gets caught in the equipment at the MRFs, where the material recovery facility, where the recyclables are sorted. And they have to hire all these people to pull the bags out so that they don't end up in the paper, which they try to sell big bales of paper to be reprocessed. Well, plastic isn't good in that. And so they have to pull all that out, and they often have to shut down the plant so that they can get all the bags out of there. So although the material is good and it can be made into a lot of different products, it's the shape of it that was bad. And that was when I had my little aha moment. Like, hey, got an idea. What if the bag was not a bag and it was something more like a hockey puck? So I thought maybe this hockey puck will flow through that downstream facility better. And so that's kind of where I started on this process of, can I turn my bags into a hockey puck inexpensively in the comfort and convenience of your kitchen? So I started this path of becoming an inventor, like Caractacus Potts in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So I made a first prototype in my basement out of wood, and Presto burger. And the one thing I can tell you, aspiring inventors right now, don't make heating appliances out of wood. It only caught fire a couple of times before I realized don't use wood. And I evolved to a much more durable thing. It's made out of aluminum. And I built this kind of a test fixture because I realized I was going to need to figure out what temperature and how much time and how much pressure would I need to make your bags into a hockey puck. So I built that thing, and then that worked really well. But it didn't look really good on my counter. And I'm like, who's going to put that thing on the counter of their kitchen? So I said, well, I got to make this thing a little bit more attractive. So I tried to make something that kind of was the size of my Cuisinart coffee machine. And it had a spring, and it had controllers and a timer. It's like a jacuzzi timer. And that was much better, but still I couldn't get any investors interested in that one. So I hired an engineer. I said, look, I'm done. I did as much as I can do. And I hired an engineer that designed something that looks a lot nicer and sitting in the back of the room. So that's the evolution, and that device, you put your plastic bags in, you push a button, and we like to say, you puck them and then you chuck them. Working on better slogans than that too. But anyway, so the idea is that in the convenience of the kitchen, you can recycle. Now, a lot of people say, well, we're banning all the bags. We don't need to do this anymore. Well, actually, even though we're banning plastic bags, there's still a lot of plastic packaging that you can recycle. So like this is the overwrap over cans of tomato soup that I bought at BJ. You've got cereal box liners and the case wrap over water bottles and bread bags and dry cleaning bags and the case wrap over, this is my garbage, so I apologize. But, it's also my business. Potato bags and apple bags. I mean, there's so many different bags. So even shipping envelopes are the same polyethylene. So we still have a need to recycle all this stuff. And it's only being recycled at a 1% rate. We've got to improve that. Pilot program in Eastern Mass we're working on, we're going to include as many towns as want to participate. I already have about 8 towns, and we're going to get a MRF and a plastic reprocessor, and we're going to get everybody's plastic bags in pucks, and we're going to reprocess them into a lot of good products. The team is myself. My background is in supply chain management. I've got an engineer who designed that back there, Peter Boyle. He's up in New Hampshire. And a small team of engineers in South Boston, Daniel Chu, and Vicki Ferry is here today with me, my business development. And also John O'Leary has been a very valuable mentor to me through the Clean Tech Open, and I've got a couple other great mentors. So, my resolution this year is to try to move this business a lot further towards commercialization. The big challenges are raising money. Probably the second biggest challenge is creating a minimum viable product prototype that's really cheap and looks great, and actually inexpensive. And yeah, that's about it. So, thank you very much. Question?
What is the business? Is it selling households a device that they can put that plastic into?
Yeah, so the business is really creating a circular economy for bags by first selling the device to individuals or bulk sales to municipalities.